Russians are struggling to comprehend the recent events surrounding the revolt led by Yevgeny Prigozhin, the head of the notorious Wagner Group, a private military company. The uprising took place in Rostov-on-Don, Prigozhin's hometown, and initially, many residents didn't believe the reports of an armed insurrection. However, the city was soon occupied by Prigozhin's mercenaries, who crossed the border with Ukraine with the intention of challenging the Russian military. Despite the presence of heavily armed Wagner fighters, the atmosphere in the city remained calm, and locals even interacted with and supported the mercenaries, taking pictures with them and waving Russian flags. The situation left observers and Russians bewildered, as Prigozhin's forces advanced towards Moscow but stopped around 200 kilometers away from the capital, after reaching a deal with Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, an ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin. The spectacle raised questions about the power dynamics in Russia, and the potential consequences of a relatively small armed group coming so close to Moscow. Some Russians hoped that Prigozhin's rebellion would lead to changes and reforms in the country, while others were fearful of the implications. State-backed media initially reported the events without vilifying the mutineers, but coverage diminished after it was announced that charges against Prigozhin would be dropped. The weak response to the insurrection and the lack of resistance from the Russian authorities became a subject of criticism in liberal media. Commentators pointed out the vulnerability of Putin's regime and the inability to control such a rebellion. The incident highlighted the need to strengthen the armed forces and re-evaluate security protocols. Critics compared Putin to the emperor in The Emperor's New Clothes, suggesting that his hold on power is becoming increasingly tenuous. While the immediate aftermath of Prigozhin's revolt remains uncertain, ongoing investigations indicate that the authorities are not willing to overlook his actions. The situation has left Russians grappling with the implications of the event, and the potential instability it reveals within the Russian political landscape.